Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be showing you what's new in R2, which is revision 2 of System Integrator SIX. So we'll get going here. My name is Seth Enos, and again, this will just be hopefully a quick tour. I'm going to try to respect the time of this. We've scheduled an hour, and talk about some of these cool new features. So here's the interface. Looks pretty similar, right? But we have added quite a few more features in here, as well as this release is getting us ready for the mobile quote app that everyone I know is excited about. So you'll see little teasers throughout here as I'm showing you the new features of R2, but we will be doing a completely separate webinar for mobile quote once it is released. So that might head off some of the questions. Okay, so let's start off here. I'm just going to go to the Start menu, and we'll go to Setup, and we'll go to the Control panel. So this looks very similar, but we've added a bunch of new settings out here. Like you'll see the mobile devices, little things like that coming, and then your mobile quote settings. In addition to that, for right now, let's talk about some new user permissions. We'll try to get these out of the way because these are boring, but they're new. So what we've done here is turn off the ability for users to view costs. I created a quick little username for myself here with that, but let me show you the permissions here, and I'll just pick that group. But when you are looking in here, you can turn off the ability for certain users so they cannot see the cost of products or your labor, for that matter. All they'll be able to view is the pricing there. So let's go ahead and log in with that user. I'm not currently logged in as them, and I'll just show you what that looks like. So there'll be a little bouncing around today, but let me disconnect from the server. I'm going to go ahead and do NC and log in with this user. And so now I'm just going to take you out to the catalog here real quick and show you that if I open a product and go to the price tab, you'll see that the unit costs, margin and markup are not visible. So that's the benefit of that setting. And out here also, if you were to look at phases, it's a much smaller form here because it's just showing the price per hour, not the cost. So all right, let me go ahead and close that out and get back in with a admin user. So we'll go ahead, now we're connected back here. And let's go back here to the control panel real quick. Another user setting revolves around contacts and clients. So we had a request come in to, kind of limit what certain users can see, so they can't see all clients and all contacts. If you have like personalized lists for your sales team of their contacts, but you want to bring them into the software. So if we go here, you can see that there's now just the ability to view just my clients. Same thing with contacts, just view my contacts. So again, that was a feature request. So again, nothing really to show there that I feel like showing, so we'll go ahead and close out of this for now. And another new setting in here, it's going to become particularly useful coming up when you're going to be bouncing between mobile devices and integrating here with our software, would be the My Account option. It's here under the control panel. It's also up here, which is going to be on each screen, but this gives you information about your account. You wouldn't believe the number of our users who forget their username and password. So at any time you click this, it will show your name, your email, and if you want to show your password, you can. It'll tell you what permissions. It'll give you a read-only here to let you know what permissions you have as a user, and your server information. What's the server name, the IP address of the server, and then the ports. Currently, we're using this port, of course. Mobile quote will end up using 9011. And then your registration information here, which I'll just skip going to that. So let's go ahead and take a look. There's really, we added just another little thing here. We moved service order progresses out here as a more of a global setting than having to do right on the form. The major thing though out here is the new tax settings. So you now can put multiple tax rates into the software. And so you have two options here, really. We got rid of what used to be called like standard and then Canada, which were the two, I guess, the tax types you could have previous to this. Now it's basically you have taxes are the same for all taxable products and labor, or you're going to set them on a per product and labor basis. You can, of course, use mass update for that, but that would be examples where you're you want to put GST tax only on certain items, and then certain items have to have both GST and PST tax, things like that. So not only can you have multiple tax rates now, though, in the software, you can have tax groups. So I'll pull this up here and take a look. The tax groups are just again, it's a grouping of individual taxes. So I created a group already out here. I called it Nova Scotia, and I assigned it both the PST and GST tax here. But when you're going to choose new, you're either creating another tax line, which could be for 7% for this city and then 8% for this city when you're working outside, or again working outside of different states, different countries. Or you could create a tax group here that you just give it a name, whatever, and then add whatever taxes you've set up here. So I could just go a random one here like this and put those taxes in there for a total of, in this case, 15%. So it's kind of similar how accounting softwares work with tax groups. So that will give you a lot more flexibility when taxing products. So that's a big change. That's been a long time coming. A lot of people have had requests for that. So a little minor setting out here too that will appeal to some people is that subcategories now have an abbreviation field. So we've always had that field for categories, but now again subcategories, if I just pick one and edit it, they have an abbreviation field that by default, even though it's not showing here because I had this entered pre R2, will be like the first 5 characters of the name. You have the ability here though on a subcategory to give it a unique abbreviation, and if this is filled in, we're going to go ahead and use whatever is populated there on anything like a component ID format. It'll give you a lot more flexibility, mainly for wire numbers. So let's see here. Go ahead and close that out there. Let's see. Let's get out of this view here and let's move over to the catalog. So we've got the products, labor, packages. We'll go here. And so every item now has a created on date. That was a big request for a while. And I'm just going to filter here. Oops. Pull up a product. And we'll bounce it open. So there's a created on date, which is really nice. A lot of you were using custom fields for that. Now it's just going to automatically log that for you. So improvement there. Also, when you're filtering out here, we added a new quick filter here based on price, where you can do searches and queries / filters based on MSRP, unit cost, and unit price. Set maximum and minimums to help you find your products quicker. So there's that. This one again, affected some of you, so take a look here. The rack units here now has an option for you when you compute it here based off of the height to round up or round down. And so that gives you, again, depending on how you're actually going to be putting this in a rack, I'll show you exactly what I mean here in a sec. So if I mark this as rack mounted and hit compute, it'll pull up and it says that the rack unit is 4.36. Now do you want to round that up to make sure that there's 5 spaces available, or are you rounding down to 4? A couple of users wanted this option, so we could just say, in this case, round up to 5, and then you've got a reference here for how many rack units that is. So it's a new option there. Little one here. There's a mass update feature now inside of the IO Studio for the terminal and the signal. If you want to do some quick changes, rather like just pull this open here as an example. If for some reason, I'll just take this. I don't want this to say dvid, I want it to say video. Rather than having you to use this drop down to go through each one and change that, you can select a group, as many as you want at a time, and you've got a little mass update little button here. So I can say that I want to update the signal and I want it to be video, and pull the list here and we'll choose video, update, and those now have been changed. So that will help you stay consistent a little bit better when you're working with your IOs. So very cool new little feature there. Let's see here. Getting the catalog stuff that we did out here. There's the showed you the price tab. There's a new price rule setting here that if we pull this up, just do selected here. This set from. For a little while, a lot of you were having to work around this. So there's like, if you wanted to set your unit price, say A, to be exactly equal to your MSRP, you had to like create a formula down here that was like unit price A equals MSRP plus 0. And so that was the workaround. Now it's just set from. So you could just select the two fields, hit the button, and it will set for you. Just a little minor feature, but the request did come in. You guys could probably find a lot of uses for this set from. Let's see here. I'll talk about layout in just a minute here, because I'm going to jump over to projects. They're more interesting in projects anyways. So let's go here to manage projects. So we did some changes here. One of the first things you'll notice is that you have a new section down here at the bottom of your projects list. So we used to list up along the ribbon here a way for you to view your files, but you had to click it. They weren't just always visible. Now they are down here. We removed the revisions tab from the top, put it down here, and then the files tab here just lists all associated files for the project, whether they're Visio files, AutoCAD files, PDFs you've added to the project. Here's how you would add files, by the way. You don't want to manually put anything in our folders or manually remove anything for that matter. So use the add button if you want to add anything here, or of course create new Visio or AutoCAD files. And so again, just an example here where you can see multiple things listed. So that's certainly new. Another thing that you can do, which I'm not necessarily going to demonstrate right now, is you can have multiple Visio files open for the same project. You used to not be able to do that. You could only have just one Visio drawing for a particular project open at any given time. Now you can have multiple. It opens in the same instance of Visio. So that's great. There's a new check-in all setting here. Now we've had check-in all for a while, but you can see I have these 4 projects here checked out to me. New little prompt here that when your project checked out, it says, do you want to check all these projects? Then you have the option here of keeping the projects checked out after you check them in, which kind of sounds counterproductive, but there's a reason we had this request. A lot of users want to check in their project files to back them up frequently, but they still want to have local custody of the file, and so that just saves you the extra step of rechecking out the file. But it can become it can be very useful here. So always an option there if you want to keep those checked out to you. Remember, good practice, always check in your project files for your weekly, nightly backups, or however often you back up. Probably not as often as you should. All right, so let's see here. I'm just taking a look over at my list here of what I want to cover. I'm just gonna start a new project here. I probably won't complete it because I don't really want to go through all the motions here, but I want to show you a couple new things. A really big one is entering a client name. So now I can type a completely new client here, Mike Smith. And what would happen prior to this release is when you try to get out of this box, it would prompt you that you need to select a client from the list, and then it would not let you. So you were having problems coming back, and you have to clear this out and then go ahead and either select a client or create a new one. Now when you lose focus from this, it's going to ask if you want to create the new client. If you say yes, it'll open up the standard form here where you can come in here and set for this client address, basic information here, address, contacts. Big new feature though is you can set your tax and or labor tax either to groups or individuals for a particular client. That was a, as part of this new tax rollout, one of the features we added here. So that is a very cool feature. And for now, I'm just, oh, I should have said yes. Let me go ahead and save this real quick, even though I'm not going to enter much information. What I want to take you out through here is the rest of the wizard. Again, things that have changed. So you've still got your site, your billing. Now there is a tax settings option here too. So if you don't set it for the client or you want to change it on the fly, you don't have to wait anymore until the project file is open. You can just do that right here in this wizard, set what you want to set for that particular project. And really the only other things that we did in this wizard, we cleaned this up a little bit to put the buttons much closer to each other for when you're adding locations and sublocations. Here you've got the add where you can add location or sublocation from your stock list. So I pull this up. This is what you would have under your setup tab, or you can always create a new one here as well. So anyways, it's hopefully a little more clear when you're entering these. And same thing here, just buttons side by side for adding your systems. So that was the improvements out there. Actually, one more that's minor, but you can manage your custom fields now from here. You used to have to stop if you ever wanted to define one of these on the fly, or just do it after you create the project. We just gave you this link here as well. That was a request for a while. So we'll go ahead and cancel that project creation here. Let's see here. Let's open a project file now, and we'll take a look at some of the changes within the project editor itself. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this one here. It's a real simple file that I created for this webinar, but what I'll be doing in here, I'll show you some really cool new features in just a second off of this very simple proposal, or at the beginning of one. This originally was created from a mobile quote while I was doing some testing, so you'll notice a new little tab over here. Again, just sorry, little teasers towards what's coming. You'll have a tab here for mobile quote, things like that, and the ability to link to a mobile quote. Here's a big deal though for a lot of you users is layouts, creating custom layouts. Now you've had the ability to create custom layouts for a while now, but one major thing that they didn't do was keep the column widths. Like if you create a custom one, it would in fact let me do that. Now when you click custom here, what you'll see is if you don't have any, you're going to get prompted to create some because they're managed over here now. So go ahead and hit yes, and we'll go ahead and hit new to create a new one. My layout, if I could spell layout, and I'll just push some fields over here just real quickly. This is the big deal now, is that the column width is now recorded, and it will be respected each time you have a custom layout applied and you reopen your software. Now remember, custom layouts are specific to each user account, so everyone can have their own preferences of what you want to see and what your column widths are. So what did I push over so far? Category, unit cost, unit price. So I'm just doing a quick example here. So now you could try to modify this here if you really know the width, but that's not, we put that there because of course someone would ask for that to put it in exact, but the real way you would do this is, so if these are my columns, let's go ahead and save and close this custom layout. Let's apply it. So my layout. So now this is what I'm seeing because that's what I chose. Now when you drag this over to try to resize things the way you want them, like again, I'm just going to do this random example. I've moved some things around. You can do a save on your layout or a save as if you want to create a completely new one. But I'll hit save and you can see that it records the new widths here, and you get the option of saving this or modifying it at this point. So anyways, big deal for a lot of you users. That was a big complaint. But another thing that you can do on, let's see, a custom layout. We've applied it. Let's go ahead and manage these here. You can also apply a filter to your custom layouts. Now, this is only available within a project file, this filter, but you're able to define any filter you want here from this list of what you might want to filter to when you apply a custom layout. It might be looking at a certain category. It might be certain, order statuses, things like that, even estimate numbers. But it will apply each time you apply your custom layout. So anyways, that's in projects only there. The width, though, this is available in any custom layout throughout all the interfaces. And there are a lot of them that have the custom layouts. So very cool new feature. Although, let me go back to my general one now. So, real quickly, I'm going to pull this back up, and let's just highlight this project file right here. Back to these files down here, you'll notice there's a file in here called coverpage.jpg. That cover page is because you can now have a custom cover page per project, which that was a big deal. So a lot of people have been requesting that, and you do it from within each project file. So back in here, let me just go ahead and show you that really quickly. There's a cover page image button on the reports tab within each project now. If you click this, you get the option to use the cover page and proposal from your global settings, which, default is that little beach house thing or whatever you've decided to change it to, or you could create a specific one for this project. And if you do that and add the file here, it will automatically be saved as a project file out to your list, and it will be used every time you run a proposal for that particular project. So anyways, that's a big deal there. Let's see. Okay, we have a new cloning products feature here, and I'll demonstrate the issue and then how we solve that. So I'm going to show you one way to clone items. You can always use this add section in the drop zone to clone existing items. But what I have here in this, again, a simple example, I've got a classroom with two different systems that have been started, a control system and an AV system. When you're using this to clone, like to Classroom 101, and I choose AV system, I would have to do the AV stuff separately, as you can see here, and then come over here to assign the control system, because if I selected everything at one time and drag this over, everything's going to be assigned to the AV system in that new location. So the same thing was true if you cloned via right click or again, select all. There's a clone option here, or it's Control D. But what we've done here is we've added new settings up here, which are really nice. So I may not want to keep the clone items at the same location, so I can uncheck that one, but I'll keep them in the same system. This will allow each one of these to maintain their existing systems, but go to, or be assigned, I should say, and added to the new classroom, cloned to the new classroom. Hit OK, and you'll see that now they've maintained their systems. So that's a really, really cool improvement there. So we'll go ahead and delete this out. All right, let me see. Watching my time here, I got a lot more to show you. So another complaint, this is a nice new feature, is when you right-clicked on an item here, it did not automatically select the item. So like, for instance, if this one was in focus and I right-clicked here on the screen and wanted to edit it or do something to it, prior to R2, this would still be selected, the Control 4 piece up here. Now, when you right-click, it automatically selects the line you're on. It seems minor, but that will make a lot of you happy out there. So let's see. Okay, we've talked about cloning. Oh, another thing too. When I was cloning earlier, I luckily avoided it, but let's go ahead and do this again. If you click in an editable field, some fields out here are editable, like component ID and price fields like that. It just, you saw it broke my selection. I was trying to drag and I accidentally click here and I can't drag. So cool new little feature right here is you can turn off cell editing at any time. which will allow you to then click anywhere you want to drag over. So that's, turn that on or off. Anyway, just a little tip there. Okay, so let's talk about now two big new features that we've added to proposals. Optional items and alternate products. So there's two different concepts we're going to show here, and we'll talk about them. Now, both of these, alternates and optionals, only exist within projects for now. We may add alternates to the catalog later, but for now it's on a per project basis that you can add these new features. And they only apply to proposal reports. Proposal reports are the only one that are going to, you're going to have the option of showing alternates and optional items. So what I've got here, again, very simple example, but it's a classroom. What we're calling it Classroom 100. And we've got, you know, control system in here, and we've got some parts here. So first thing I'm going to show you is an optional item. Now, an optional item, so I'm going to add it to Classroom 100. I'll treat it as part of the AV system, but let's say this is spec'd out here, like you think this is what you're going to do, but you want to give them an additional option, if you will, for the project, like to say, we could also add a smart board to this classroom. And so to do that, we'll go ahead here and pull out the Product Explorer. Let me find my product real quick. Got a smart board here that I'm just going to drag over and add to the project file. So for right now, it's been added as a standard item. But if you double click this, there's a new checkbox here. It says optional. So when you do that and save it, this, let me get focus off of that, it will turn green. That's just the default color. You can change that. I'll show you, well, here, I'll show you now. Under your application settings, which also is now available right in the software, you can turn off your optional row color and change the font color as well out here if you really want them to stand out like red or something, or green, I don't know. And then alternates that I'm about to show you coming up too, they also have a row color that you can change here. So, so it's green, but what that has also done, again, only on proposal reports, is it will now ignore, the price will be ignored, but it's going to display on the report to show that you're offering them an additional item, and it will show up at the end of the group. So real quickly, let's run a quick report. Proposal with images by location. We'll run this. So let's scroll down here. This is what you'll see. So the parts that are actually being charged for, displayed first. At the very bottom of this group, it's going to say additional options, and it's going to list the part, it's going to list the price. But this price is not included in this total down here. It's an optional item that you're showing them. So it's, and you give as many options out here as you want. Again, they'll display, but again, the price just isn't included. Now, if the client decides to go with that, yeah, hey, way cool, let's put a smart board in each room. All you do is uncheck that box. You just, grab this up and say, you're no longer optional. Click that, and it's now a part of the project file. So again, proposals are the only ones that are going to show that. But let me run it again. Sorry, I shouldn't have closed it real quickly. The text that says additional options, and actually the color here of all this text down here, can be changed via a report setting. So if it doesn't have to say additional options, you can come up with your own little wording there. And you do that via your report settings here. So if you pull this up here, you can see additional options is the default text. Change that to whatever you want. And if you want to change the color, go ahead, and everything there would list in, like, red font or green font or whatever you want to do. It's up to you. So yeah, that's options. Now you can turn those off. You can see here when you're running reports, you can say don't, I'm sorry, not there. It's actually here. Edit the report definition. So we've added some parameters out here so that you can hide optional items if you really don't want to show them at some point, but keep them in the job. And same with alternates here, which we'll be demonstrating shortly. So that that. You can also discard all optional via the tools menu. Select it or all, depending if what you want to do in the job. I could just say, I'll just get rid of all the optional items. Note they didn't want them, and then they just get removed. No harm, no foul there. So there you go. I'll leave the optional item in here and show you alternates now. So alternates are a different concept. They're still options, meaning the client has this option, but an alternate is associated with a particular product, not just to a location, in this case, like an extra screen. It's an alternate to something. So let's take a look at this thing here. this touch panel. So this one has a camera on it. That's the one you want to sell them, and you want to give them some alternate items though. This is kind of like a good, better, best scenario, if you will, if you want to do it that way. But I'm going to go ahead and let me see, add products. When you add an alternate product, it tries to filter down to the same, or doesn't try, it will filter down to the category and subcategory of the thing that you're adding to. That's just a preset filter. You can deny that if you want. Just reset this filter and you can add anything you want as an optional or as an alternate item here. But we tried to help you out there by pre-filtering. And so I'm going to grab a 5-inch and a 7-inch, and either one of these have cameras. So these are all going to be lower in price, but sorry, that's the example I came up with today or yesterday. So I've added these as options. It shows you the difference out here. So they would, if they wanted the 5-inch one with, again, no camera, it's take $300 off. This one's $100 off if you don't want the camera. So you can see that there's 2 alternates added here, and then just save and close. They show up blue, like I showed you earlier in those application settings. If you want to change that, go ahead and you can change this text. These also show here with like, so this labor here, this programming labor is an accessory to the main item. The blue ones here are the alternates to this item. And so, once again, these only show up on proposals. So let's run one. Same report here. And we'll go here, scroll down. They show up right beneath the product. Now, if there are accessories, accessories would show first. Like that labor item, I'm just not showing on this particular report, but those would come first, and then it would show you the alternates to the primary item. And in this case, you can see it says subtract 300, subtract 100. Again, this doesn't get calculated in anything down here. Here's the room. If you choose one of these, it's going to be 300 less, or it's going to be 100 less here. Of course, in this case, minus labor or anything like that. We're just showing pricing. You can change this text color and this wording here for like the subtract and add. Again, if I had a more expensive item on this, you would see the word add here, and it would show the positive dollar value here. And so anyways, you can change the text, like I said. Let me go ahead and close that for now. Just like with the optionals, you can discard all your alternates if you want to, if you change your mind about having them in the project file. Here, you can include alternates or not. You can actually just uncheck that if you wanted to take that out of the mix. I showed you the right-click option already to, on the fly on a proposal report, decide whether you're going to show these or not. So all of you that have custom reports out there prior to this release, you're going to need to recreate them with these cool new features, because there's a lot of coding that went into the current proposals that are coming out with R2 here, or that came out with R2, that have the ability to do alternates and optionals. So now the thing about alternates, so I showed you, like, say an optional item was selected, you could always uncheck this box and it becomes active and live. So here in the list here, if you want to promote one of these, you can. So what we'll do is, let's say they decided to go with this one without the camera. There's a tool here that says promote alternates, and you can also right click to get to that, promote alternates. And when you do this, you have a couple options here. So maintain installation price. That's a little weird one, but it's there because we know someone would want that. Where we would say, okay, we're going to give you the less expensive one, but still charge you the full price. Obviously, that in the reverse situation, that may be useful to if you want to maintain that. Keep accessories with the item. That's nice. The programming labor that's sitting up here, I can say, yeah, keep the accessories of that main item and attach it to the new one. And then you can also discard all the other alternates. If they've chosen, you can just get rid of these. So what will happen if I were to do this? This one would be promoted up to the main item. It would keep its accessory. The other two would disappear from the project file, meaning this one would come down in the list and then they're deleted. If you don't discard them, this current one up here is just going to go down in the list as an alternate in case, again, minds are changed later. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll promote one of them up. So you can see that's up here now. The other one came down as an alternate item. So, okay. And so for right now, again, our initial implementation of this, only products can have alternate items. In a job, packages cannot here. And so that's just for now. Again, definitely send in your requests. I see a lot of stuff going off the side, so definitely we'll come back and address more questions towards the end when we have time regarding this stuff. We'll be happy to go through this with you. But that is the big, like, new deal, inside of the projects here. I'm sure there's other little things I'm missing in here, but according to my list that I wanted to cover, the main topics, we're right on track. I'm going to close this for now. Actually, I'll just minimize it for now. And talk a little bit about the report improvements. A major change, which y'all may have noticed when you upgraded, were that we upgraded the version of active reports that we use. So the report designers definitely looks a lot different. We jumped quite a few versions when we came up. We're now on active reports 7 in the software. So we'll go ahead and just go here, manage reports real quick. Some cool little things out here. Change order reports now list in the little tree here. They used to not. So to go modify them later was kind of a pain in the neck. Now you can see them here in the list and actually see a list of anything you've designated as a change order report in the software. So way cool. They have a little red icon next to those. Real quickly, let's take a look at that new designer. It opened on my other screen, so bear with me. Oops, not that. My list of what to cover. There we go. A lot different looking. If you look up here, there's like seems like 20 more options. So there's a lot more snap to grid and align options when you're working in here. That's what all these are. Lots of functions down here to change your grid look, whether things are snapping to. So all kinds of fun stuff. Really not going to go through this here in this particular webinar, but yeah, new interface, big deal. Meaning, I'm not that good, but that's a big deal. We're finally current. So, all right, let's see here. Also on reports, we added a new parameter to turn off group totals. So one reason I left this open here. Let's run a quick proposal. Every group has, historically that we're showing a subtotal here. You can now turn those off for a project. It used to require a custom report where you go in and just, either delete these fields or, make that section invisible. Now it's a right-click parameter. This is very cool. Again, edit your definition here. Pull this up and show dynamic group section totals. You can uncheck that if you'd like, right on the fly. So that's a new feature there. When you do run a report, which I've run the same report many times now. Let's see here. Where's my export to? Folder, right here. Export to project folder. I had to expand this a little. You have this option now so you can automatically save PDFs of files directly to the projects folder without you having to save them down locally, then add them, via our add function. That can happen automatically for you now. So another time saver for you. This report, the project summary, won't be very exciting on this small little job here, but what we did is we added down here labor, cost, margin, and markup. That was missing from our previous little view. And again, this is what that project summary, this is of course meant to be internal. As you're working, you can get your quick view of the job on the project file. What's cool now in this version 2, there is a setting to, you can put whatever report you want here. So a lot of you have customized what you want to see in the project summary. That's why one reason we added the labor there at the bottom. It came in as a request, but there, you guys may have your own custom ones of everything that you want to see on the one button click here, rather than coming here and finding the report. So under report settings, you can decide what, where is it? Of course, I'm going to go through here and try to find, can't read on my screen right now, but there's the ability, here it is. Default project summary. You can choose any report, any custom report, or any other report that you want that will function off that button. We've had that for the quick proposal for a while, but now it's there for the project summary as well. So your 2 little buttons there. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, one other thing too that I don't know if everyone's seen this yet. The installation price is very visible at the top of the layout now of any view in here. And also, when you change your views, let's see here. If I go to like a item summary or something like that, we've just put the grand totals here. So that will help you with your views. Let me pull my ribbon back down. Oh, we also got rid of the individual. If you'll see here, there used to be a labor option here, and then just products. That was just killing memory, so we took those out. And I don't know how many of you were actually using these, but you could certainly easily get to what you're looking for, via a quick filter here when you're looking for particular things. When you're coming in here, I could say just show me my labor items. It's very similar to those old views, but way less memory intensive, so that's a good thing. Go back here. What I'm going to do now is jump over and show you a few of the little things we did in Visio, and then I'm going to finish with QuickBooks, and then we'll see what we can do to answer questions. So real quickly, I'm not going to save all these changes here. Well, why not? Let's save them. I'm going to reopen that project file, this time in Visio. So that one was this one. Come down here, double click. Bear with me, it's opening on the other screen, but I will drag it over. Okay, let's pull this up here. So what I have here is let's come in here and show you that I've got some shapes sitting out here for this classroom. What I will show you here, let's pull up my project editor and pull it over here. So you can see the items that are on the page. Since I've still got this one that I ended up demoting to an optional item here, but or an alternate item, I should say. But let me pull over this optional item. You can do that. These alternates and optionals can be dragged to Visio. We're just going to warn you that when you pull this over here, that's like, hey, you're dropping a shape for an optional or alternate item, and they only display on proposal reports, not on installation reports. So if you make wire connections to them, you're not going to see them. They don't mean anything to us because they're not real yet in the project. So you can proceed, get your little shape here, and then of course change it. These ones here are screens as well, but they're the scale shape versus the icon. But anyways, let me go ahead and delete that out of here. Let's see here. The paste special is the big one here. What I'm going to do is, you can see I have some items here. Let's go back here. And in fact, I'm just going to clean this up real quick. And I'm going to, well, hey, you know what I should do? Use the new feature. Discard alternates. Gone. Now we're back to where we started, except for that, of course, item here being promoted. Let me get it over here to the page. Now, since the other one stayed as an alternate, we'll put you here. Maybe twist this around. But so I have some items here in this job, and let's say I want to I don't want to redraw this. I know it's a simple example, but I'm too lazy to redraw this. This is really useful, of course, when you're doing big schematics and stuff. But Classroom 2 is identical to this. And so I just want to copy and paste the shapes over here. And what would happen in the past when you would do that? You could copy and paste. It would prompt you for every single item that you're adding. So on a huge schematic that you're copying, all the items are being added to the project like they should be, because they have to be new products with component IDs and all that stuff. But you would get prompted for every single one of them. Every wire, then every accessory, all that stuff. So what I'm going to show you here is our new option here. Let me select, well, it helps if I select all the shapes. Did I get them? No. Let me hold control down and grab this one. So I've selected these shapes here, and I'm going to copy. I'm just going to right click and copy. And I'm going to paste them on the page, but don't use this paste special. That's the Visio one. Come to D-Tools and choose paste special. And this is where you're going to get the new features here, where first option, paste as new products with a prompt. So each one of these is going to prompt you. This is the way it's historically worked. Some people don't mind that, but a lot of you do. Why this is kind of nice here is as you copy and as you're being prompted, you're able to pick the location and system, which obviously could be a different location. This one will still add the items to the project file, but it's just not going to prompt you. It's just we'll just automatically add them, and then you're going to have to go back and reassign them the new location, for instance, which I'll show you in a sec here. Or there's this option, paste as an existing products, which is essentially the same as having alternate shapes. So they don't add anything to the project file, but they do maintain these component IDs here. It's kind of a copy of it for whatever reason you would want to do that for. A lot of our users just like to have the same schematic on 3 different pages. They're not really, assuming they're identical, of course, and they're not really worried about component IDs. You may even turn those off, and they just have a copy for each one of the locations. I'm going to show you this middle one here, because this is the one that will be most used by the people that requested this, is to just paste the items and not prompt for each one. So now if I pull these over here, I can do a quick little lineup, come back and fix that later, but there, I put them in the job. But back here in the project editor, you can see that those parts have now been added. Anything that's highlighted gray here. Now the fact that I have 2 different systems here, this is where you have to decide how you want to assign the locations or to the new one, to say classroom 102 or 101. Dragging them all, let's say I wanted this, to AV systems, going to assign everything to the AV system. So these happen to be in a different system. I'll show you just the quick way I would do that is pull these over, let everything, oops, sorry, I meant to hit assign. Sorry about that. I cloned these. I meant to go to assign, which would have assigned everything to the same location system, then just drag the other 2 control products over. But for right now, let me delete these. Got to find the ones that were added there. So let me give you that example. So these are the ones that were just added. And you may have noticed too, the accessories came over with the parts, even though they're not on the drawing page. So that's way cool. It's like it completely clones the room, if you will. So here's how you could approach this. Just drag over to the assign everything to the AV system. This is warning you about the accessories being assigned to the same as the parent. Choose yes. Notice this doesn't refresh. Some people complain about that. Here's an instance where I really like that, because I'm able to then go, oh, control system, just you guys, and assign here. Again, the prompt for the accessory. And then if you refresh your grid here, you'll see that I've got the 2 locations now with everything in the proper system. So there's that. Some other things here in Visio, real quickly. Let me zoom out, and in fact, here, we'll just delete these items off of here. Is the location and system shapes. We had something similar to this way back in version 3, and actually, I remember version 3. But we brought these back here, because we often get the questions like, oh, when there's a floor plan in Visio and you drag a shape over, does it automatically assign to the location? It's like, No, it can't read an AutoCAD floor plan or a PDF that you've put in here, or in this case, something I drew. So what we have though is the option to put little box, if you will, around a location and then drag and drop into that shape, and it will automatically assign to that system and location. So let's do that example. Now, anyone who upgraded, you're not going to see this automatically. We don't ship stencils with our installs to save on space and on the disk itself. So just come here to, when you're on your Shapes tab, download D-Tools, and when you do this, it will show that location and systems stencil available to you, download and close. That always gives us the flexibility to release new shapes at any time to you, which is really nice. You don't have to wait for a release. So what will happen here is if I pull this location and system shape over to the job, it's going to then prompt me to pick a location and system in this case. So I could say that, you know, classroom, let's just add a new one, 102, AV system, hit assign, and let me shrink this down. So you can then resize this if you'd like, you know, move it into position. I'm going to call this close enough. And then when you're adding new parts, a lot of you like to add from here in Visio. And doing that doesn't assign it to a location and system usually. You have to go back and do that later. Unless, of course, you've got, if you guys know this, if it's selected here, you're good to go. Like I've got room 101 and control system. Technically, I could drag a part over here to the job and it would assign to that. It'll always respect the drop zone. This shape overrides that. So if I just pick something, let's real quickly, so we'll do the smart technologies thing again here. Just pull this down. I'm going to grab this and drag it from here to there. So it drops the shape for you. The product, of course, has been added to the project, but this time now, if I pull this up, you'll notice it's in room 102 as part of the AV system. So that shape won over what's picked here in the drop zone. Now the shapes only work from here, from initially dragging in parts, or if you were dragging in this and assigning a part. Any existing shapes like this is not going to reassign to that location. It's a one-time instance call on assigning these, but still pretty cool for those of you that like to drag and drop and always wanted to assign to a location or system. So that's new there. And really this one, I don't know how many of you knew about this request, but when you are working with layers in Visio, every category in our software gets assigned a layer. So all wire and cable gets assigned to like the wire layer, or let's go here. You can see I've got control system, display devices, distribution panels, and screens so far in this job. So let's, I'm just going to add a wire real quick. Well, here, let's do it this way. Pull out one of these here, pull it in, it drops. Let me just hit assign here. This was assigned to the wire and cable layer. There's a setting now that you can change to use the subcategory as the layer name. So you can have audio wires drop on the audio layer automatically, so you don't have to go reassign them, and then video on video. And again, subcategory being one of the major fields here. So that's what will drop and be used. And that again is just a project setting. If you come in here, use subcategories layer name for wire shapes in Visio. So, okay. So let's go ahead and move on to QuickBooks. I saved that to the end since I know not every one of you on the line is going to be using QuickBooks, or sorry, that uses our QuickBooks interface. Sure, we'll go ahead and save this. We'll close that and we'll go ahead and I'm going to walk you through this. Now, one of the a major change here is that the item number in our software will now transfer over to, I think it's called, I don't know what it's called, the manufacturer part number. Let me pull this up. Manufacturer's part number. So we'll automatically push those over if they exist in our software. It's also part of the synchronization process now. So if we go ahead and let's go back here to the home tab. Let's go here. Let me quickly take you out to the catalog here. Let's see here. We'll pull up like this device here. If we're taking a look at it, let's see, does this one, yeah, this one has a part number filled in. So let me go ahead, show you QuickBooks, sync selected. It looks like it's already synced over there. Let's see if, is this one? Oh, it doesn't have an accounting number. So, well here, let's make a change. I will force it to show you. I'm going to change this price here to be $8.99. And now we will sync selected. And so you'll see that part number is now part of the transfer over in the synchronization. And if they were different, they would show here. My example here as I force a price change here. But so that's a big deal to a lot of you that you wanted the item number to go over. And so we updated to the latest QuickBooks SDK in order to do that. But our major feature, the one that I really want to show you, and I'm really running out of time here, unfortunately, but I want to demonstrate this, is pushing a change order to QuickBooks. It's been a long time coming. The request has come in, so we implemented that in this particular release here. So what I have to do first is push over an estimate. So kind of, I'm going to give you guys like kind of a scenario of how you could do this. So if you're estimating on a job, you've presented the client the job. Again, this is just a little sample one I built here, and they approve it. You know, good practice here, not required, but you might want to mark this at that you won the job. Save and close. Save and close the project file. And create a revision. So you're going to lock down your as sold. So now again, this isn't new. This is something you've always could do, is create a revision. But for my example, I need to create a revision first. So you've got a revisions tab here that you can hit create on, or you can right click. So we're going to create a revision. I'm going to call this my as sold. Wonderful. Hit OK. I get my revision down here. And now I want to push this job to QuickBooks. And again, I don't have a status that says push to QuickBooks, so I'll leave it as 1 here. But let's go ahead and create the estimate here. So we've sold the job. Hopefully nothing will change, right? Because clients don't ever change their minds or anything like that. Let me pull this over here. So this is pulling up my initial estimate. I'm going to go ahead and create a new customer. Hit OK. And we'll go ahead and create this estimate. So estimate 9 went over to QuickBooks. So we'll go ahead and save that project file. So we've got that going for us. Now, let me go ahead and close this. And now changes are going to take place on this job. So they call back, they want things removed, things added, something like that, right? First of all, maybe I should show you the estimate. Let's go here. Estimate previous. So that's what we just pushed over, right? For this job, you can see the parts that were just there. Let's go here and make some changes. So I open the job, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some more, control panels in here. Bedroom 1 through 3 and 4 as part of the control system. We're going to go ahead and put in, give me a sec here. We're going to go ahead and put in one of these. And so it's prompting me for the accessory here on labor. I can go ahead and do that, or I can hit cancel on this. Maybe I'll add it later. But I've done some changes. Let me remove some things too. So again, quick way to do that. Let's go find master bedroom. There we go. Go in here. Expand these out. We're going to go ahead and replace these products here. And I'm going to replace those with these. So I've done like some changes in the job here since it was saved as a revision. So we'll save and close this. And let's go ahead and compare the revisions. So when you compare these, we're going to hit the compare. Now this is a new option too, by the way. When you are comparing, you have the option to compare just price or price and cost. A lot of our users were using revisions here to track what was I trying to say here? To track actual versus estimated cost, not just selling price. So this is a way to do that now. You're able to compare either way. In my case, price is all that matters here. So we're going to compare these. And, oops, pull this over here. Come on. It shows what was added. It shows what was taken away from the job. And, of course, you can run your QuickBooks, or sorry, change order reports as you always did. You know, get that, the client approves it or whatever. This is the new feature here, that we can kick this over to QuickBooks. Now, you can create a new estimate if you want, as long as the net value of this change order here is not negative. QuickBooks won't accept that. You'll have to append the existing one if it happens to be an overall negative value. So this is where it comes down to preference in your whatever you do in accounting is, do you create a new estimate for these changes and then you try to reconcile the old one with the new one, or you can add this to an existing one as a change order. So I'm going to say add to existing all items and enter estimate number. If you don't see the estimate number in this list, it's only going to list the ones for this job, which would make sense. You can manually type in one here too, but it is estimate 9. That's the one I just showed you over in QuickBooks. So I want to go ahead and export to estimate 9. So what this comes up with is a way for you to change the description here if you want, but it just says change order with today's date, and it shows the parts that were changed, if you will. And I'm just going to say approved, something like that. You don't have to change this, obviously, but just so you see, you can customize the text here. Hit add to estimate. And this was added over to that QuickBooks estimate. It's going to prompt you to save, which these are some nice new little prompts here. So yes, let's save that we did that. These items now have an estimate number. And then when you go ahead and close out of this, we're going to prompt you right away to create another revision. So you've pushed something, you've done a major change. That must mean that you've locked down this revision as like an approved change order. Let's go ahead and do that. So I have a new compare point here. So it's now current compare point. If you want to put the actual notes of what you did here, of course, what was removed, you can do that. So we'll hit OK. And let's go take a look at the estimate now. So here's what was just appended. Oops. Where's my scroll? I guess I'll have to do this. You can see there's my little text I added here. Oh, I'm having trouble scrolling. Sorry. Bear with me. Change order, approved, and then there's the parts that are in there. Things that were removed, you see are negative here. They come out of there, the stuff that was in the original one. So you have an effective change order now here, and do your accounting stuff. But yeah, that's been a long time coming. So, and really that is what I wanted to show you today for the new R2 release. And if it is open for questions, I know there are a ton of you on the line here, so I'm going to go back over and on my other screen here, pull up some chats with the D-Tools team members to see if there's specific questions that I can answer.